He asked how was married life going.
Now, if anybody knows game, when you say how's married life, he's trying to downplay what married life is. One of the reasons why a guy would do this is so that the girl can go, we're not married, right?
You know what Melissa did?
What'd you say, Melissa? What did you say, Melissa?
We're not married.
Bamboo Project Podcast. Starting in 3, 2.
Alright, so today is June 16th. What time is it? 12:25. So today we're starting late. I'm actually not even mad at all about starting late today. Like, the reason why I'm not upset is because I understand that right before you get to the next level, you're gonna have like setbacks, right? And a book that Melissa read, do you remember the name of the book? The Upper Limit? The Big Leap, right? It's a book about breaking through your upper limit and the things that happen to you before you get to that point, right? So you may not be able to see it as far as people listening or watching the video, but I can see the differences in how we start the podcast now and before. So even though we were starting late before, it was a lot more hectic. Today we're starting late, but it was a lot calmer. We took the pictures. It took about 5 minutes to take the thumbnail. We had the settings for the camera set up pretty well. On my phone, I can actually look at the camera from my phone while the camera is recording me, so I can actually change the settings from there. So it's a lot of things like that that actually help, or not help, a lot of things like that show me that we're doing a lot better. So what that pretty much means to me is like, okay, yeah, the ending of it may be us starting at 12:15, but everything up until that point was perfect. So once we change one thing, it will just start the podcast at 10 o'clock or 10:30 because we were up early. We had breakfast. We were looking at some conspiracy theory stuff. So we were looking at, what else were we looking at? Look at something else this morning too. We watched somebody's YouTube video. So we were up before the time. So we had enough time to start by 10. And even the way we started, we did a lot more things in the time period. This shit is mad loud. We did a lot more things. That shit is mad loud.
Turn it down from the mic.
On which side?
On that side.
The volume or the gain?
The gain. The volume is for like we have headphones.
Oh, okay. Gain's on the bottom?
Top.
Turn it to the left.
This way.
Hello?
That's right.
Hello? Yeah, I know. Hello? Yeah, so, what was I saying? So, like I said, we changed, everything else was great. If you look at all the blocks lined up, everything was good. All we have to do is add one more thing, and that one more thing is easy. It immediately just takes us into getting the podcast started at the right time. So I feel like, I don't know if anybody will understand that. I would have to probably explain it to somebody specifically if they gave me an example in their life where, let me think of something. I use getting ready for work as an example, right? So let's say you keep getting to work late every day, right? But you get up early, you brush your teeth, you eat breakfast, you get dressed, you have all your stuff ready. But for some reason, you keep going late to work. Now, before, you may have got up at 9:30, had to be to work at 10, and now you're running out the door. You didn't brush your teeth, you didn't do your hair, you didn't eat breakfast, or anything like that. So you're getting to work late, but the person getting to work at 10 o'clock, who's late, and the person who did not do anything in the morning, and the person who is getting to work at 10 o'clock, who got a bunch of things done in the morning, are not necessarily in the same boat. Because the reason why both people are late could be because both people are catching the wrong bus. Let's say they're catching the 9:30 bus. As opposed to, if I wake up at 8:15 and I procrastinate or I get a lot of things done before I leave, then all I gotta do is catch the right bus. And I can get all those things done in the morning and get to work on time, as opposed to the person who wakes up at 9:30 and is like, oh my God, I'm late. I can't brush my teeth. I can't wash my face. I can't eat breakfast. I got to run to work. There's two different things. But the end goal, which is getting to work, when somebody comes into work at 10 o'clock, you see two people coming in at 10, both of them are late. But everything leading up to that, you don't really know what happened. So that's how the podcast was today. Where it's like everything leading up to us being late today was completely different than if we're late on a different day. So all we got to do is change one thing and we'll pretty much immediately get the podcast started on time with all the right things in place, which is the thumbnail, the settings on the computer, setup of the room, getting the camera set up, getting the mic set up, and all those other things. So people who are also listening on YouTube, right? We're on Spotify, we're on Google Podcasts, we're on Stitcher. We might still be on Stitcher, I'm not sure. I know we're on Google Podcasts, Apple Music, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify, right? So pretty much all major streaming platforms are on there. People who are listening to us on YouTube and other platforms like Spotify and Google Podcasts, you can go to the YouTube channel where we make food, where we have vlogs, where we have...
People listening to you on the podcast.
Huh?
People listening to the podcast.
Yeah, people listening to the podcast on the... That's what I said.
No, you said if people listening to us on YouTube.
I thought we can go on YouTube. I thought okay. People listening to us on the podcast who are listening to it, you can go on YouTube and watch the actual video. You can see us, the kind of food that we eat. You can kind of see different vlogs for now until we go, back from this quarantine, because we can actually really put in the work. We want to start traveling and doing more things. We have a clothing line that's going to be coming soon, but Melissa can't make the clothes now because the freaking places are still closed. So we can't even buy fabric to make the clothes we want to make, because I have a plan of wearing, because right now I have to kind of recycle the same clothes, but I would rather recycle clothes that I wear for the podcast that were made in-house and that have either the logo on it or were designed by us, and it just looks nicer. So I want to get to the point where we can do that. So we have that. Melissa sings. We're going to have that on there. It's a lot of different things. So you have singing, we got clothing, we got fitness, and you can find all those things on the YouTube page, The Bamboo Project, or on Instagram.
It's a beauty.
What? That's Melissa being corny. That's what that was. What was that? Why you what?
I was saying beauty. It's okay.
Yeah, Jamie. What are you doing?
I know that's.
So we have beauty on there because Melissa wanted me to tell you guys that there's a beauty part of the channel. So even though that's not a project, it's on there as well. So what else do we have? I forgot my train of thought. Oh, that's what I was saying. The Instagrams. So you can, if you go on my Instagram, which is Donivan Gray, DONIVANGRAY, or Melissa's Instagram, which is Anita Burn, ANETABURN, you can, honestly, you probably can't even find them on it because we don't follow those pages. But the Bamboo Project Food, the Bamboo Project Clothes, the Bamboo Project Fitness, the Bamboo Project Music, the Bamboo Project Sports are going to be the Instagrams that we have to show all the other things that we're doing. So if you want to go see that, those are the Instagrams for that. And I know you guys probably heard the ad last time, right? I'm trying to get that bag. I made like a couple cents off that last podcast. They put that ad was trash. I'm not gonna lie, that shit was hot garbage. But I did the ad. So like you said, you gotta start somewhere, and at some point the ad will get better. But right now, I just did the ad just to do it, just to say I did it, get my foot wet, and started doing that. So let's see. So first thing, so this is the recap part of the episode. So last week I wanted to speak on Melissa's fraternization, right? That's what I wanted to touch on last week, and I had forgot. She thought she was off the hook, but she's not, because I remember that she was fraternizing and I did not bring it up. Right now, I'm going to explain to you guys how Melissa be fraternizing. Right, so Melissa has, I call it a crush. Right, she would disagree with what I'm saying, but I call it a crush. Now, you hear the Jamaican teeth? That's because she disagrees with what I'm saying. So the reason why I say that Melissa has a crush is because when I was running game, there are certain characteristics that a girl would. Can I help you? Okay, would portray, right? That would let me know that for me, I can get the cheeks, right? Now, here's an example, right? Melissa has a friend that is popular at his school, right? So whenever she speaks about the popularity at his school, she has that little goofy sound. All the people like him, and I went to his school. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, it's you! Oh my God, he's a chairperson of this. He's on this committee. He's doing these things. Oh my!" Right now, to a regular person, it's like, "Oh yeah, these are admirable traits." But to a guy that used to run game, you understand. Oh, this is what attracts her to that guy, right? Now, I understand that there's a long list of things between that emotion and that action to her having sex with the person, because at the end of the day, that's what fraternization is for, right? I understand that. So I just make it aware to her so that she also understands what's happening right now. When she likes to say, "No, he's mad ugly. I don't even," it's like, listen, a lot of ugly guys be fucking, right? A lot of ugly guys be fucking, and this is what it is. So if you have game, you get pussy. It has nothing to do with being ugly or not. Short guys are still fucking. Ugly guys still fucking. Broke guys still fucking. How are all these ancient dudes still fucking if a high quality guy is the person that shouldn't be getting? Should be the only person getting sex, right? So, so he calls Melissa the other day, right? And what? Oh, she called him. What was the reason? Do you remember the reason why you called him?
I'm like, you're asking me this question.
Do you want to sit over here in the chair? You want to sit in the hot seat?
It's a leading question. You want to sit in the hot seat?
Yeah.
I'll sit in the hot seat. It's not a problem.
Okay. You can turn the thing around when you come over here.
Huh?
You can turn the thing around so I can see it.
I was tilted.
I can just move over too. So.
Already tilted it. I wasn't expecting to be on the podcast today, or I would have wore something nicer.
Isn't that funny when you come on? This is why you just dress however and that's whatever. So, why were you calling said guy?
Because I haven't spoken to him in a while, so I wanted to see how he was doing. Yeah, like we haven't had a conversation, like an actual conversation. Like we've, like messaged here and there, but like actual conversation, like what's going on now.
Okay. So, can you recall this conversation?
Yeah.
I'm speaking to the mic. What do you remember about this conversation?
What do you mean? Like what we spoke about, or
it's up to you. What do you remember about this conversation?
I remember, we were just kind of like catching up how he's been, how I've been, what's going on and stuff like that. We talked about like. I don't think we talked about school, but we talked about him and his girlfriend, and I found out that they actually broke up.
Oh, I forgot. I'm glad you brought that up. I forgot that part. So, right? So when I had first enlightened Melissa onto the fact of how this guy, or how he would have sex with Melissa if opportunity presented itself, right? And I said that she would also have sex with him under the right circumstances, right? Now, these are very broad circumstances. No. Not true. These are very specific circumstances that would allow for these two to act in coitus, right? So she tried to tell me, no, that would never happen because he's ugly, right? That was the first thing. And I was just like, see, so I'm going to give you guys a little bit of game.
I'm not attracted to him.
That's a lie. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of game, right, as to how things work. So guys who have girls can see how this plays out, right? So I'm going to tell you why that's a red flag to me. If I ask a girl, right, would you have sex with him? And her first reaction is, no, he's ugly, right? If she knows the person, not if she doesn't know them, if she knows the person, I say that that's a red flag. The reason why is because that is not a quality that would deem somebody unfuckable, okay? That's not something that would deem somebody yes? That is not a quality that would deem somebody unfuckable, right? So, when I hear that, on top of the fact that I've already heard her do the whole, oh my God, he be doing that. When I hear all of that, right, that's when I go, okay.
Look like that when I see the whole chicken neck. I ain't do
all of that, right? So that tells me that she's trying to find reasons that she thinks I would think that she doesn't want to have sex with him. Not reasons that she thinks, Reasons that I would be like, yeah, he is kind of ugly. Yeah, he is kind of short. Yeah, he is kind of dumb. Like, these are things that she thinks I would be like, okay, that makes sense to me, right? Now, she's shaking her head no, that's not true.
I'm very much shaking my head no.
Okay.
Because I do not find him physically attractive at the end of the day. That's
okay.
Yes.
Now, linguistics class. You guys heard what she said. Can you repeat what you said?
I do not find him physically attractive. And I said what I said because I already know what Donivan thinks. Not because I said the reason why he said earlier that it was a lie when I said I'm not attracted to him is because I'm not. He knows that I'm not attracted to him physically.
But
Okay.
What?
But there's other ways to be attracted to a person.
Yes.
So I'm speaking Donivan. So speaking Donivan, I am not physically attracted to him, and that's why I would not have sex with him.
Okay. So, physical attraction is probably the least amount of things that a guy needs to have sex with a girl. A woman going sex other way around, probably. It probably needs more of a physical attraction for the guy to have sex with a girl, right? But for a girl to fuck a guy, it's probably at the bottom of the totem pole, right? Because girls want a guy who's truthful. They want a guy who is confident. They want a guy who is courageous and ambitious. They want a guy who's funny. They want a guy who... See, he's smiling. They want a guy who other men revere and want to be like. They want a guy who can support them financially. Now, I just named 8 or 9 things, and none of them was he looks good. None of them, because now this guy I just named, he could be fat, he could be tall, short, he could be skinny. It don't matter what he could be. It could be a lot of other things physically that are irrelevant. But those core characteristics are the things that, this shit is loud as fuck, are the things that make him.
The way will not make it any better. You have to turn down the key.
I feel like that makes it better.
No, it doesn't.
If you say so. So, right. Now, you guys who are listening can't see Melissa smiling because that's what's happening when I read the characteristics of a person that a girl would find attractive.
It's accurate.
Right. None of those things are, he has nice eyes. Now, if you have all those things and you have nice eyes, now you're talking. You got all those things and you got a 6-pack, now we're talking. But you could have all those things and be ugly and be like, well, he's a nice guy. I really love him. It's something about him is just so... All of those things are important. A lot of guys who are attractive and have no game can probably... What did that say? A new subscriber?
I don't know. We in the middle of a podcast.
And a YouTube podcast. Well, partly on YouTube, but what does it say?
YouTube Premium.
Listen, we've been going up in subscribers this week, so I thought we got another one. All right, that's what I was looking at.
We almost at 50.
Yeah, 48. Okay, and we got 4,000 views this week. Not in 1 week, but like overall, we got 4,000. We hit 4,000. So either way, so back to what I was saying before. Now, one of the characteristics that I said earlier is that a guy who has other men revere him is attractive to a woman. Now, in this case, also a guy who has other girls is very important. See, exactly. Want him is very important because girls go, oh my God, why do girls like him? I got to find out why girls like him. I'm going to go and talk to him. I'm going to go flirt with him a little bit, see why they like him. And that's how you get them to come to you, right? Now, this guy, as Melissa has told me before, when she was on his campus, this is what happens. He's walking around with her. All the girls are coming up to, oh my God, you so... It's all the other girls, right? And the guy's like, yo, what's good, bro? Yo, when we going to that thing? When's that thing happening? Yo, you coming to my room later, bro? We got to do that thing with the... Right? Now... This is why, again, I say Melissa would, under the right circumstances, have sex with him. Now, the other thing that she said earlier, other than him being ugly, is that he has a girlfriend, right? She was like, oh, see, and this is what girls say, right? When they want you to think that they would not do it. He has a girlfriend, as if girls don't fuck guys with girlfriends, and if guys don't cheat and fuck girls while they have a girlfriend, right? That's what they like to say. These are all reasons that to me are red flag because it's like, so you're telling me just him having a girlfriend means you wouldn't talk to him? So if you leave his girlfriend, you would talk to him is what you're saying. That's what I'm hearing, right? Was it shaking her head? No. What do you...
Because that's not what that means.
Okay, what does that mean to Melissa?
I feel like I'm being set up. Being set up.
Nobody's here.
I plead the fifth.
That means guilty. So, okay? Whenever you hear that means somebody's guilty.
What does that mean? I mean, yeah, I agree. Like it doesn't mean anything. It's a social contract between the two people that's in the relationship. It doesn't really mean anything to anybody else. Mm-hmm. it even means anything to them. But either way, I really use that as like a.
Not only should say that.
I don't recall.
There was
really
one other thing. There was one other thing that I wasn't sure. It was something along the lines of. Is it a memory card? It couldn't record without a memory card, right?
Huh?
It couldn't record without a memory card, right?
You know.
Okay. So another thing that she had tried to say, I don't remember specifically which part of it she said. It was one of these two things. It was, I love her so much, or I like her a lot, or he likes her a lot. He really likes her.
I think I said both.
Right? Now, these are things that would be used.
But that's not me saying that as a reason as to why that wouldn't happen. I don't think I said that as that. I think I said that because that's like how I
Okay.
felt.
Now I'm going to explain. That's girl logic. I'm going to tell you how, if I was running a game, what that means to me. Okay. That's what I would call a deterrent. So that I can now think in my head, oh, he loves his girlfriend. He don't want her. Right? So now watch this. I'm going to ask Melissa some questions. Right? So why would you tell me that he loves his girlfriend very much?
To show you how strong their relationship is.
And that means what?
They might be together for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, now, does that mean that if they were not together, that you would be talking to them? To this person?
To which no.
Doesn't mean that. But if this is one of the reasons why you're not talking to them.
But I don't think I said that as a reason why I'm not talking to them.
So why would you bring that up?
I think I was explaining the dynamic. I don't know. This is a very long time ago that we had.
I can tell you exactly why. It's supposed to be for me to go.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. They love each other so much. That means they can't cheat. He couldn't cheat on her. It's impossible.
I hope the camera.
It probably did.
No,
it can't.
Please don't pick that up.
It did. I don't know why you think it wouldn't. I don't even know why you thought that would.
Donivan farted.
So it wouldn't. It's what's I gonna say? It would. Like I said, it's a deterrent that women would use. Right now, I'm bringing this all around because earlier Melissa said, and she also tried to tell me they have a baby. She thinks they have a baby.
No, I never said that.
That wasn't him?
No, somebody else.
Okay. So he is married or going to be married to this girl. They love each other very much. And Melissa likes the girl very much or something along those lines. As if any of these things matter. Have y'all not seen people fucking their best friends, their friends' friends, their sister's friend, everybody? So these are not reasons why. Now, for me, if I want to know if a girl actually does not like a guy, I don't really care about what she says. It's about how she says it. Because if I said to Melissa, do you want sex with?
No.
You sure?
Why would you even say his name on the mic?
I'm gonna leave it
out?
Leave it out.
Oh, no.
See, it's a different response. It's like her brain instantly goes to, like, oh my, I no, right?
I didn't do that.
No, of course not. You said now. Why don't you want to have sex? Because he has a girlfriend. Is that the reason why? That's not the first reason that comes to your mind if he has a girlfriend.
He's not physically attractive.
Oh, that's the only reason?
No, it's not. He's rude.
Uh-huh. See her face? Very different face than when it's about somebody else.
But I don't know him.
Mm-hmm.
And I was friends.
Would you have sex with Michael B. Jordan? You don't know him? You see? This is what I'm talking about. See how they say these things? Let's say these are lies. We'll go on.
I don't know if I would.
Michael B. Jordan?
Yes.
Because it's white women thing?
He's physically attractive.
Uh-huh.
So, if we just talk about looks, yes.
Okay.
But I don't know how he is, so I won't say a definite yes. But if we're going by looks alone.
Okay. So, Melissa told me that this person has now broken up during her conversation that she just had recently. Has broken up with his girlfriend. Now, this is from months ago where I said I think that they could possibly have sex. Now, here's the thing. People need to understand this, right? Nothing is wrong with the idea that your girl wants to have sex with somebody else. Wants is
a very strong word.
It's a very strong word. Wants when I say want, I mean has ability to. In my mind, I used to say if a girl's talking to me, she wants to fuck. That's how I look at it. Now, that means on step 1, she's talking to me. I have to pass step 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 up to 78 before I get pussy. But if she's talking to me, I know that if I know the rules to get from 1 to 78, I can have sex. If she's not talking to me, that's like, damn, it's going to be way harder for me to have sex with her because she's not even talking to me. But if I know if she's talking to me, we already passed step 1 and 2. She's talking to me. I'm good. And as long as I know the other steps, I can get to 78. So, can you finish the rest of the conversation that you had with this young man?
So, this young man is familiar with the Caribbean culture. He's not Caribbean himself, but he's familiar with the Caribbean culture. So, one of the things that was brought up was whether or not I would be attending Miami Carnival. Which I am not attending, but that came up.
How did it come up?
He asked me if I was still going to Carnival.
Which carnival did he ask you if you were going to?
I said Miami Carnival. I said it already.
That's the one that's not in New York where we live. So how are you guys going to get there?
I never agreed to go to Miami Carnival, so this is not something that was a plan. But he said it as if it was a plan, but it was never a plan. How did he say it as a plan? What was his... Because he said, are you still going?
Right. He said, are you still going? This is it. It's about linguistics, right? If you run a game, it's a form of gaslighting. I'm trying to explain. I'm trying to let you guys put you onto game, right? If you study the game, you understand how this works. You go, yo, you still want to come out with me tomorrow? Now, a girl... who is very gullible or susceptible will be like, oh, sure, right? But that's because you phrased the question as if she has already agreed to it. It's a form of salesmanship and game. I picked up on that. Melissa, I don't know if she did when it happened, but, continue. What else do you remember about this conversation?
So there was that. What else? He asked if He asked how was married life going.
I'm going to pause that right there, right? Now, if anybody knows game, right? I think this is typically a female trick, though. This is not typically what men would... No, it's not typically what... I use this word very loosely. What a real man would do, what kind of game a real man would use, you wouldn't... Because here's why. When you say how's married life, he's trying to downplay what married life is by phrasing it in that manner, right? Oh, how's you and that your husband? Even though we are not married at all and actually broke up a couple of months ago, right? But you put it like that. The reason it's what girls do.
We're together now.
Yeah, this is my girlfriend. This it's weird. I'm trying to figure out why girls. Oh, here's a reason. Okay. One of the reasons why a guy would do this is so that the girl can go, we're not married, right?
You know what Melissa did?
What'd you say, Melissa? What'd you say, Melissa?
We're not married.
Again. Now, how would I know that this is something that would be said? Right? So now that what happens is he goes, oh, word? Because now that she's affirmed it, that we're not married, which he already knew we weren't, even though he said it in the first place. It's just to get her to say we're not married. So it now allows him, he's separating Melissa and me by saying things like that. Melissa is agreeing with it. Why? Not because she's naive necessarily, but because she has an attraction to him. So things like this will keep happening because she's in a ditzy, okay, right? Well, so if you say I'm incorrect, if I'm incorrect, explain to me. Word. So explain to me why you didn't know what was happening.
I would not say, okay, I did not know. I recognized what was happening afterwards when I was having my conversation with Donivan about what was happening while I was saying it to Donivan. So I don't want y'all to think that we had the conversation and then he told me what. No. I kind of was replaying in my head like, that sound like Wait, is that a... Oh, shit. But I think that what Donivan said, I guess it's true, where my guard wasn't up because that is my friend.
A friend that she has an attraction to. Okay. So, now, that's that part. Right? So this is for everybody listening. I want everybody to understand how the game works. A lot of guys don't understand these things, and then they don't see the cues for their girls, right? Now, I want to also state this, too. I don't care if Melissa is friends with this person, right? I don't think any guy should necessarily care. As long as the girl in the scenario, which would be Melissa, understands what is happening. When she doesn't understand what is happening, that's when you start having problems. That's when things like this go unchecked, and then Melissa will go down the road of, they call it in the game, it's called a... what?
That's a totalitarian.
That's funny. That's hilarious. That's funny. It's called the...
I have to edit it out.
I want to call it the yes chain. I can't remember the exact term they use in the game, but pretty much this is how that works, right? You get a girl to say yes a bunch of times, right? So that the more they get her to say yes, the easier it is for you to get her to do something that you want her to do. So you might ask her, you might start off with like questions like this. Hey, your name is Melissa, right? She go, yeah. You go, you still like playing basketball? She's like, yeah. You know, you still like, you just get her to say a lot of yes things. Whatever get her to say yes is what you would say, right? And you don't go from, hey, you like basketball, yes, to you want to suck my dick. It doesn't work like that. You go, it's little things. All the steps between 2 and 78, you get her to say yes to. Because when you get to 77, she's already at 77. So 78 is not a far jump from 77 to 78. But from 2 to 78 is a very big jump, right? So you have to, it might be a yes escalation ladder, something like that. Either way, these are the things you have to pay attention to. Now, it only becomes a problem when your girlfriend does not know that these things are happening, because then she'll think that the person doesn't have any ulterior motives, which happened with, I believe, in this situation. She thinks, oh, everything is cool. And then what happens is you end up in a room with a person who you've been pretty much saying yes to the whole time. And now a situation where they're coming on to you, you're in a room by yourself, and you're like, damn, how did I get here? Now you have to, but again, you still kind of want it. So now you got to explain to yourself how.
I feel like this is very far.
Yeah, 78. Right.
There's mad steps. I just want to reiterate this, man.
There's a lot of steps between these two things. However, if you don't know the steps, they will keep happening, because then what happens next is exactly how the steps go. So, you want to continue on after Melissa said we're not married? Because now it's a form of disassociation, which the guy has not separated Melissa in Melissa's brain, even though Melissa likes to say to me, nothing about it, that's funny. All the time, Melissa says, we're getting married. That's my husband. I'm your wife. All the time she says this to me, right? But when a guy that she has an attraction to says, hey, how are you and your husband? Melissa says, we're not married, but go on. Like I said, listen, I told you. Like I said earlier in the podcast, we come ready. Like, it may seem the same, but from behind the scenes, it's way different. All right? Don't worry. When it blossoms like a bamboo tree and it shoot up, you're going to be like, how'd it get to this point? Because we've been digging the roots into the ground so much that by the time it's time for us to grow, the foundation is so strong, it's easy. It's light work. Okay? That's what we do. That's the whole purpose of the Bamboo Project. If you don't really know, about to find out. What is the Bamboo Project? It's a YouTube video we have on the channel. First video, go to there. We kind of explain how the name Bamboo Project came to be, and we explain also, funny enough, you'll hear us talk about starting a podcast back then. This video was made from last year. We have a lot of things on there that we talked about that. Everything has not come into fruition yet, but they're coming. So.
Okay. So autofocus is back on. Not autofocus, but it's focused.
Okay. So we were saying that the marriage thing, Melissa said that separating. You got to separate the guy from the girl if you're trying to get in between. So what happened next?
Listen. I make very clear that this is the man that I want to marry. Okay? Just throwing it out there.
Listen, again, I'm going to tell you something. You guys can see it on podcasts firsthand. That does not mean anything. A lot of women say these things and cheat regardless of those thoughts. So saying that means what? Because I'm pretty sure most girls don't go into a relationship and go, I'm about to cheat on this man. I'm about to, how I got him, you about to cheat now. That don't happen like that. They say, I want to marry him. I want to be with him. I want to get, whatever. I want to have all his kids. And next thing you know, you got 10 kids, and none of them is yours. None of the kids belong to you. But okay, what happened next?
I had told him that we broke up, but we were back together.
Mm-hmm.
So that came up, and he was very shocked at the fact that we broke up.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that happened. What else? That's pretty much what we talked about. We talked about his relationship, my relationship, Carnival. That's pretty much it. I think we briefly talked about the YouTube. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, I got 2 questions. The first question was, when you guys spoke about relationships, was there anything negative said about our relationship in this conversation?
No.
Okay. Second thing is, because this is what I talked about earlier, but I was going to let Melissa say it, but she didn't say it. Would you say that this person was negging me in this conversation? A neg, guys. Here's a neg, guys. So here's how a neg normally works, right? A neg is what you might hear somebody say, hey, big head, right? These are little things like that. Now, the reason you would neg somebody is to lower their self-esteem. You make them qualify themselves, right? There's some real good tips right here. Qualifying oneself is when you try to prove to somebody else that you are not what they think you are. So if I said, hey, big head, and you go, I ain't got no big head, that's game. Because now you have to qualify yourself to me that I said you have a big head, right? The other alternative to that is banter. You got a big head. No, you got a big head. Now you guys are having that back and forth banter, right? So it's a slippery slope when you get into a neg if you know how to use it. An aggressive neg that wouldn't really work if somebody said, damn, you fucking ugly as shit. Like, you might be like, damn, that hurt my feelings. Like, I didn't really understand. That wasn't playful at all, right? Now, that's when you're trying to pick up a girl, right? Now, what he did is kind of a neg, right? Now, in the game, this term is called A.M.O.G, right? A.M.O.G. Do you want to say what it stands for?
Alpha male of group?
Yes, alpha male of the group, right? So pretty much what that means is you guys have probably seen this before. You're hanging out with your friends, and for some strange reason, one of your friends decides he wants to be real funny that day. He decides that, he's the comedian of the group. He wants to come into the group and start making fun of you, making fun of him, making fun of him in front of your girl while your girl is there. He wants to come in and say, yo, bro, I got you. I'm paying for everything. Don't worry, bro. You already know my son. I got you. You guys have friends like that, right? Now, again, like I said, these are little baby steps, but these things, if left unchecked, can get out of hand, right? So what this guy decided to do was try and A.M.O.G me to Melissa. Do you remember how this happened? What do you remember about this?
So it has to do with the Miami Carnival thing, because basically he was like that Donivan can basically come to. And I'm like, that's not really his scene. That's not really his thing.
I could come to, as if, I could, like, what? But go on. I could come to.
But, or should come to.
I don't think it was should. I don't think it was should.
Either way.
I think that he offered Melissa to come, and she was hesitant, and I think he probably said, well, we know you can come.
Hesitant. I said no. I said I'm not going. Is that hesitant, or is that
okay.
No?
Sounds like hesitant. I could tell you because you rarely are that direct. So I'm gonna tell you what I think happened.
I said nah, not going.
I got you. Right? See how that changed real quick? I'm gonna show you guys. Like I said, this is why I want people to see these things happening firsthand, so they can understand what I'm talking about. So a girl may say things like that to you. She may say, I told him no. I said no, right? But when you hear how she said no, is nah, no. Now, did she say no? Yes, she said no. But if you heard her say no like that, would you really think that's what she meant? Now, for me, I'm very sensitive to body language and tone of voice and cadence and things like that. So when I hear certain things, I go, oh, it's almost like if you were listening to music and you see the waves move and stuff like that. That's how I view body languages and people talking, right? So if I had to guess how Melissa answered this when he said to her, talking about going to Carnival, she probably like snickered or laughed because she knew it would be ridiculous to go to Carnival without me and this guy in another state. She probably in her mind thought that shit would be crazy, right? Then she probably was like, no. Like a no's like, I couldn't do that because that would be wrong to do.
I didn't do that. And I was like, nah, I'm not going.
Okay, so why did you say no to going?
Oh, because Donivan wouldn't be comfortable with that.
Okay, so do you want to go?
I don't particularly want to go, but I'm not opposed to going.
Would you go without me?
No.
I don't know if that's true. See, I'm looking at her. See, you guys can't see it. Her mouth went like this, like for a quick second. It's called a micro expression. You guys can Google that as well. It's called micro expressions.
No.
I don't know if that's true. See,
Would I go without you? Okay, I probably would.
Yes.
I'd probably go with, yeah.
Yes, she would go without me.
Not in this situation though. Not in a circumstance like this.
Which is?
With a guy.
To see this how guys get you, right? Like I said, I'm putting y'all in a game today. This is a podcast about game. It's not really, but this episode is gonna have some game in it. Would you go if there were multiple girls and guys there?
No. I would probably only go if it's like me and a group of females that's going. If there's guys there, definitely not sharing a room with any guys.
Sure, but you would go.
Yes.
So you got to come all the way back around. It comes full circle. The answer is yes, she would go. I'm very aware of the fact that she would go. Now, here's my thing. I don't care if she goes, right? I don't. The problem I have is if she goes and then doesn't know that everybody that's there wants to fuck her. That's my problem. Because now she falls susceptible to things like childish game. Like not even the extreme level game where I'm like, damn, that was good. Like, just regular stuff, right? Because the reason why is because I don't think Melissa is very aggressive when she's not very confrontational, I would say. And I think that if somebody was being playful with her, she may not shut it off immediately because it's playfulness. I have the same issue as well because I'm aware of it, but depending on the circumstance, I'm not quick to make a funny situation not funny. Like I won't just shut you off immediately. Like, oh no, you're doing too much. Stop. That's not my personality, right? For me, I believe it's different because I'm a guy. So it's unlikely that a girl who's doing too much will be, because I'm usually, I've never met a girl that wasn't physically stronger than, maybe one, but I don't even know if that's true either. And if she's grabbing me, I could be like, yo, relax. But if a girl's hugging on Melissa, if a guy's hugging on Melissa, he's being real playful, picking her up in the air. Because I think this guy picks her up in the air too. I think she told me that before. He would see her, right? And then pick her up in the air. Did he swing you around or just pick you up in the air?
It's always swing me around, yeah.
Swing her around, all of this. Right? You hear these things, you go, interesting friendship you guys have, right? But
this is like literally how I would greet all my guy friends. Like,
they pick her up and see? Right. So that's crazy to me. But regardless of that, these are the things that I would say just to be aware of. You don't have to make a big deal about it, but they're called in certain demographics. They'll be called tells, and that's when either tells in poker, I guess, or clusters if you were doing body language type reading. It's when you see a bunch of things happening not over and over again, but you look for more than one sign, pretty much. So one sign doesn't really mean anything. But if you get 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 11, 12, you're like, okay, there's a cluster of signs here. Something is happening. I need to be aware of what's going on. That's kind of how I look at it. Also, point of education, which I would call it. What's the word? I coined that term in the last episode, like episode 7 maybe or something like that. Getting over your fear helps with pointing education. Points of education. So again, picks her up in the air, swings her around when they see each other, right? Now, all these things, like I said, now think of everything I said together, and now put it on a list. If you put one by itself, what? Okay, that's right. If you put one by itself, it doesn't look as bad. Oh, my girlfriend has a guy who picks her up and swings her around. That's a little bold, but it's like one thing. It's like, okay, that's kind of crazy, but it's only one thing, right? Now, if you have, she giggles when she talks about him and how people view him. You go, okay, that's interesting. Okay. You go, this is the guy that I call when I am mad about guys in my life, right? You go, huh. Oh, okay, this is interesting, right? Now, you start, and then you put into how his personality is, and you start seeing a trail. You start having an understanding of what's going on, right? So, like I said before, Melissa would go on this trip, right? Now, again, this is what I was saying earlier. If Melissa would go on a trip, how do we get to that point? We had to go from 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. Now she's in Miami with the guy and I'm not there, right? Now, again, it doesn't go to we get to Miami, we have the same room, we fucking. No, of course not. He's doing kinetic energy. He's touching her here, giving her hugs, rubbing her shoulder, giving her drinks, kissed her on the cheek one time, kissed her on the neck another time, invited her to the room because...
Mind you, this is all fictional. Donovan is a great storyteller. None of this happened.
It didn't happen. I'm just explaining to guys how it does happen so that everybody has an understanding of what... just to be looking out for. They don't have to make too much decision. Just look out for it, right? So they get to Miami, right? And then, hey, Melissa, yo, I got to go get my camera from my room. You want to come with me? Sure, you can go get some food real quick. All right, now they're in the room, right? Now in the game, this is what it's like, a form of conditioning, right? If I was running a game, you bring the girl to your house in the beginning of the date so she feels comfortable with being in your house. You don't make a move on her. You just allow her to feel comfortable in your room, right? Then you say, all right, let's go, and you leave. Now, she already feels comfortable in your space. So now, at the end of the date, after you guys have been kissing during the date, you can bring her back to the room and she feels a lot more comfortable because she's been there already. Now you got to sitting down watching TV, you put your arm around her, things like that. That's how now you go from 56, 57, 58. Then you walk out the room with your shirt, with your towel off. Well, no, shirt off, towel on, because we're just friends. I'm gonna go put my pants on. And now the girl's like, well, that don't even be fucking, right? She's sitting there like, But now how do we get from a phone call to your girl in the room with a guy with a shirt off? How did we get there? You start looking like, yeah, this is a large leap. But it's not. It's little steps. It's little tiny steps. But the thing is, what girls tend to forget is that the repercussions of all of those steps can be catastrophic. And that's why I think they forget. They go, oh my goodness, I don't know how I got here. Because for them, it's like, I went from 77 to 78. That's not a big jump because you allowed yourself to get from 1 to 77. So that's how that goes. But yeah, we're going back to the fact that he was A.M.O.G, remember, alpha male of the group. That means making fun of the other guys in the group. What do you remember about this?
He basically just said that, no, because he was asking if you would go to, I said, like, that's not your thing. And he was like, what do you mean that's not his thing? And I explained that, like, he's like Jamaican, but he's not Jamaican. So he's not familiar with like whining and all of that stuff. Yes, that's him I'm talking about. So he's that, and Donivan doesn't agree with drugs. He doesn't agree with a lot of things. The stuff that would be going on at Carnival. So yeah, he doesn't understand where it comes from. He doesn't. He's probably not gonna drink if he's there. It's just a lot of different things. None of it adds up to what Donivan likes. None of it. So, and he was just probably, he was just like, oh, what? That's crazy. I couldn't, I don't think I could give up the fet for my relationship. And that's actually the reason why him and his girlfriend had broke up. Because he still wanted to party. Mm-hmm. So, there was that. And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure you wouldn't give up partying for a relationship? And then we kind of got into that conversation. So yeah. So
like I said, this was a little rundown.
Yeah, 42 minutes.
Oh, I was gonna ask you if you recording on your phone.
I'm not recording my time yet.
That's what I meant. Okay, but yeah. So that was this lesson of the Donivan gives little points of game to everybody. And that was Melissa fraternizing with. Oh, and then also, this is unrelated to that, but Melissa got a text the other day. See, here's the thing, right? Like I'm trying to tell people, I'm back. I'm very aware of a lot of what's going on. And I just watch. I will tell you what's gonna happen, but you don't have to listen to me. This is why I coined myself Icharus's father, right? If people are unaware of this story, it's a Greek mythology story of when a father and his son were trapped in, I think, a jail, and they decided they were gonna leave, and they were gonna try and break out by using tar and feathers, I believe, to fly out of the jail, right? And before they left, the father told to his son, he said, listen, if you fly too close to the sun, then the tar will melt and you will fall in the water and drown. He said, if you fly too close to the water, your feathers will get wet and you will drown, right? So you cannot do either or. The son's like, okay, fine, okay. They get out of the window. They're flying away from the jail they were in. And what does the son do? I believe he flew near the sun and his feathers got burned, the tar burned, and he fell into the water and drowned. And the father had to fly off. The father can't save him. It's not enough weight for him to carry both of them. So now the father had to already know that he told his son this was going to happen, and happened anyways. Now, this is how I view my life, because a lot of stories in my life, I'll tell people, hey, watch this happen. And they be like, okay, I'm going to do it myself. Now, also, I'm going to put this disclaimer. I'm also similar to that, where I want to test things out myself. So I understand, right? I got to where I was by doing what people told me not to do. So I'm pretty happy where I am. So, but I do see these things because I've been down these paths. I go, hey, look at that thing. That might happen. Or watch this happen. Watch how this plays out, right? That's impossible. That can't happen like that. So before me and Melissa, we started YouTube-ish or whatever, right? I said to her, when you start doing better and it's common sense. When you start doing better, you start showing yourself more, you start caring about your body, caring about your health, you start being more ambitious and productive, guys from your past are going to come and hit you up. Guys you didn't think liked you will hit you up. Guys that you said were your friends will try to fuck you. This is what's going to happen, right? So right now, we might be on like guy number 5. I think we're on guy number 5. I'm pretty sure guy number 5 right now. Melissa doesn't have a long history of of guys that she talked to like that, but I think we're on number 5. There was the guy who, with the video, that's another podcast. There was the dude that rubs his stomach. Did he call you recently? Did he call you, text you recently, something like that? There was him. The guys who will be negging her in her DMs, trying to get her to respond. The list, it just goes on. These things were not happening before this. Like last year, it wasn't really happening like this. There's one guy, maybe 2, but now it's very frequent, right? And I'm aware of this. What? I'm aware of this, and I'm like, okay, I just want you to understand what's going to come with this. I'm not telling you what to do. I just want you to understand and be aware of what's happening. So these guys are trying to fuck you. Just be aware of that. That's all. So now Melissa gets a text the other day. Some guy like, I miss you, with a red heart. I'm like, damn, bro. Like, you're not even really. That's what you come in with. I miss you with a red heart. Then they were talking about something, and then he said, I'm gonna call you, or he asked. No. Before that, he was saying that I said why. She said why, right? And then he responds with, it's so many things I want to talk to you about. I got so many questions about this and that and this and that. And they ended it with, and this is what I think is funny, right? Another thing I always find interesting, because this usually means sex to me. If you're talking to a guy, right, and you ask him why you want to go out or why you want to talk on the phone, if it ends in a vague statement, that vague statement means sex. So before, Melissa got a guy who said, yeah, we could just talk and vibe out. That means let's fuck, right? This guy said, well, did he say etc. in the message?
No, he said, I could pull it up.
Okay. She said, why do you want to, or what do you want to talk about? What question do you have, right? He gave her like 4 things he was to talk about, and then said, okay, so I'm going to read this to you guys. I miss you, red heart. Why? This is Melissa. He says, I haven't seen you in forever. You know I still got feelings for you, right? ... I forgot. I even know he said that. Plus, I wanted to pick your brain about some things because you've grown up a lot, which I like. Grown up a lot. That's a neg because he's trying to make her inferior by saying she's a child. This is like I said, I'm just giving you guys game. That's how this works. For girls listening too, that's how guys will talk to you if they're trying to make sure that you in a hierarchy are below them, right? you've grown up a lot. It's like, come on. Then she asked him, what do you want to pick my brain about? And he said, YouTube, housing, and cooking, among other things, right? That vague, among other things, right? That means fucking. Okay? That means fucking.
He has questions about fucking?
Yes. When can I fuck you? That's the questions. How can I fuck? Where can we fuck? Those are the questions about fucking that fall into among other things. So she said, what question do you have? And then he said, I want to have a segment where I get girls to come on, right? And they just show the message that they have of guys trying to hit them up from their past. 'Cause that shit makes me laugh so much. Like I find it to be hilarious. The most confident way you can hit up a girl from the past, if you don't know if you got it like that, you just say what's up. That's it. What's up? That's all you got. All this other nonsense, you're doing a lot, bro. All right. So she said, what question do you have? He responded with, so many. I take my time with things and need a lot of info. Now, if for me, again, you have to be really sensitive to these things. That's sexual language to me, right? So many. I take my time with things. It's like, how does that relate to asking a question? How would you relate to asking a question? If somebody said it to you, I take my time with things. That's like saying, listen, my brain is so large that I need to take my time slowly to ask you these questions. You're like, what? Why you said it like that? That's mad weird, bro. That don't sound like a regular question. Why you putting that sexual connotation or sexual energy on that text? But so how would you think when you read this, right? Mm-hmm. I take my time with things. How does that relate to questions?
It's gonna take a lot of time with the questions. Like he doesn't, because because I feel like the next thing that he said is that it's probably easier to call you. So he's saying that to bridge into being on the phone, because if I say what questions do you have and he just asks his questions on the text message, he's not going to be able to take it from step 12 to step 15. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that's a very smooth way of doing it.
Okay, the reason why it's not smooth because they're trying to fuck, right? So here's how a normal human being who's not trying to fuck, or at least has better game, would ask that question, right? I wouldn't even.
Probably just call him.
It depends, but I might, maybe, right? So I might call, but again, it depends on circumstances. What question do you have? I would say I have a lot. It would be better if I call you. That's how I would respond, right? That's what I would say. That's it. You don't gotta say nothing else. I have a lot of questions. It'd be better if I call you. Because for me, I know if I get you on the phone, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. Listen, once I get you on the phone with me and you hear my voice when I start talking like this, and I'm like, listen, where you going yesterday? I don't understand. I start doing that to you, it's a wrap. I start showing you where I want to go. It's a wrap. And then I know if I see you in person after the phone call, it's over for you. You getting bodied, right? So his response was, I take my time with things. So he is trying to set it up for sex on the phone call. So if you put some sexual energy into it via text, because this is the thing, texting for the real dudes, texting to bitches. Like the real dudes who really about that fucking life, you don't really need to text nobody. So when you would do the sexual energy to give to a girl, you would do it on the phone so you can hear your voice. I would say that to a girl. Like a girl would ask me, why do you want to call me? And I would explain to her, like, I want you to hear my voice when I talk to you. They'd be like, oh shit, what? That you on the phone, you good, right? But he's trying to have sexual energy on the text so he can use that to get him to the phone. It's like, bro, because perfect example. This is a perfect example to explain this. I don't know if anybody remembers when you were kids, right? And somebody would say after a date, oh man, that's something I want to say. They go, what? I don't know if I should say it. This girl goes, what is it? Yeah, I was really thinking about kissing you. I should have kissed you. Now, the only reason the guy would say that is because he was too scared to say it in person because he did not want to get curved. So what he'll do is he'll bring it up later to see if you're okay with it, because then a girl might say, oh, I was thinking about it too. So now the next time you go and kiss her, you don't have to worry about getting rejected because you don't want to feel that pain. But a real man goes into it like, I'm going to try and kiss you. And if you reject me, you reject me. That is what it is. It don't even mean that it's over. It just means that right now you don't want to kiss me. If we're still on this date, we can keep talking. I might kiss you a later time or another day or whatever. But a real man feels like, oh my gosh, she curved me. She don't want to kiss me. I don't know what to do. That's not how you really run game. So again, that text message that he's giving out is pretty much, so it's leading up to when he's on the phone with her and he's trying to talk all sultry. She's already used to it, right? Then he says probably easier to call you if you're cool with that. Now, I would never say some shit like that. I would never say if you're cool with that, because again, this is trying to, what would you call that? It's trying to defend yourself from getting hurt, right? If you just say it and you allow the ball to come back to you. You hit the ball and say, listen, I want to call you, right? So now she could say when or why, and then you respond to that. And you go from there. But when you start saying things like, if you're cool with that, if she wasn't cool with that, then she wouldn't call you. So you don't have to say that. It's unnecessary for you to say if you're cool with that, because again, if she wasn't, she would just say no. But he's trying to pacify the situation by saying that, right? So she said, yeah, sure. He said, nice. When's a good time to call? She said, now is fine. This was at 10:03 a.m. on Sunday. Today is Tuesday at 1:26. He has not called her yet. I don't know why. I don't know the reason. I don't know him. I don't know anything about him. I find it to be very odd. She posted a picture. She posted a video recently about her doing a try-on haul where she was trying on different clothes.
Which is on the YouTube page.
And maybe I'll post it up right here or something. And that will...
you should post a clip. You should post a clip that led to this.
Right, exactly. I'll put the clip here that probably is the reason why he hit her up in the first place.
That is most definitely 100%.
She put it on Snapchat and he said, yo, I miss you. I'm just like, people are so, I'm like, but again, it's only corny to me because I see the game. If you think the person is being genuine, then you don't see the underlying game that's happening. So for me, it's kind of like, really? That's what you're doing? It's like, all right, whatever. So that's that. That's enough on Melissa's fraternization of the week.
Of the week?
Of this week. We didn't get to next week.
Of this week?
Yeah. I'm going to go get a tortilla. Or can you give me a tortilla? Or the bag?
You can be eating on the podcast.
Watch me. I don't have a boss. I don't work a 9 to 5. I'm an entrepreneur. Funny enough. I have a theory about that too. Let me say this real quick. I feel like the goal shouldn't be not to have a boss. The goal should be to have as many bosses as possible. That's the goal. I think that other shit is dumb. Because if you don't have, everybody has a boss, whether you think so or not. Apple has a boss. It's the people that buy the fucking products. If we all decide, you know what, Apple, we're not buying your shit, they get fired. That's how that shit works, okay? So, my goal is to have very many bosses. People that talk to me, shout out to Kamar for listening to the podcast. Those kind of people that say, hey, Donivan, like he told me, he said, look, he wants to see me have, I'm going to stop talking because I'm eating at the same time, and that sounds crazy. I know it does. But I'm kind of hungry. So give me a second. For all your mukbang people, I'm going to eat real closer. Anybody that has one of those phobias where you can hear somebody smacking their food, you should probably mute this right now. I'm about to get real close to the mic. Anybody else that has those real nice fetishes where you hear somebody, eating? Here we go.
Hello. Are you serious?
What happened?
You.
Oh, listen. Some people out there enjoy hearing this. Okay, it's for them. They probably are.
You're not supposed to say it. You're supposed to eat.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm just very sure.
Oh, okay.
It's just the sounds of you eating, not the action. You have to dust your beard off now. This was a bad idea.
You should have had tortillas then. That's your fault.
I was hungry.
Me too.
breakfast.
You had a smoothie.
That's not food.
For you, it is.
How you know that?
Because you eat every day.
But it's like 2 o'clock. This is when I
Bruh.
eat my snack. Yeah, that's
My chest.
Yeah, wow.
Okay.
I think we should have a separate episode of podcast bloopers.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, we'll cut this out the main podcast, but that's okay.
I mean, I think it's better for the podcast. I feel like these are not bloopers. It's real life. This is. My life is a blooper. Okay?
Or we could name it that.
My life is a blooper. So where? Oh yeah. So I was talking about Kamar. Shout out to Kamar for listening to the podcast. He was saying that he wants to see how it would be if I had people on the podcast. It would make it more dynamic. And I agree, because the original purpose of the podcast was for me to have a conversation with people about things I don't understand and just questions that I have, and have somebody to kind of tell me, Donivan, that don't make any sense. And I want to hear what their reasoning is, so I can kind of have something to go off of, as opposed to just me talking and thinking for myself, not thinking for myself, but talking for myself. Talking with my thoughts and nobody else to correct them or challenge them. So that was the goal. That was the main purpose of the podcast originally. Then the coronavirus hit. Then Hunter's on the podcast, and then that didn't work out. So I ended up doing it by myself. So, so now it's just me and Melissa, and it isn't really, I don't know when, and people have been asking to come on the podcast, but they want me to do like the video thing, and I really dislike the video calling thing. What happened?
Oh, that's what you wanted to do?
Who?
That's
Mm-hmm. And I really don't like, because it's too many variables I don't want to have to account for just to get a video call. I had somebody else actually be on the podcast, but they didn't have a reason to be on the podcast. They just kind of wanted to come on. I'm like, I could find a way to make that like a good podcast, but I'd have to like, it's not something I would do right now, as we're still trying to figure out the best setup and production for the podcast. But I've been watching people do this new format of, what would you call it? A video conference, Zoom call, meetups for podcasts. And I'm like, it's silly. I don't like it at all. If you want to be on a podcast, you come to my house. We here. We shoot between 10 and 12 a.m. 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. on Tuesdays. If you want to pull up. I want to talk to people. I want to have conversation with people. Come to the podcast. The whole I'm scared of the coronavirus thing. I don't listen. I'll tell you right now. The whole coronavirus thing is some bullshit, and I'm not gonna be what's what I'm looking for. I can't think of the word. I'm not going to let this nonsense stop me from having a good podcast. So if you want to come over, come over. I'm not scared of it. I don't care. I think it's bullshit. So there's that. The recap was an hour long, but hey, it's cool. I think the other stuff on here is irrelevant. Whoa, that's not what I meant. I think the other stuff on here is not as long, but I don't know that until I start talking about it. So still going to the recap. Melissa quit Amazon. This was like a couple of weeks ago, so she can fully work on YouTube 100%. We have an agreement where she will pay me back any monies that she borrows from me when she makes, so I become rich and shit because I want my coin back. And what else? And yeah, I think it's cool. I just think it's cool that like, because this was what I wanted from the beginning. When she quit Starbucks, I wanted her to just work on YouTube and stuff. What?
Really?
Yes. That's the whole purpose. The whole purpose was you to work. The whole purpose when you quit Starbucks was to start doing all the projects. Start cooking, start making clothes, start singing, going to the studio, going to practice your singing lessons and stuff like that. That was the original plan. The difference between now and then is I don't think you had the drive before, and I also don't think I had the funds necessarily that I felt comfortable enough to do that. But I think that both those things have come together where you have the drive to want to do the stuff. I don't have to push you, and I have enough money to support it and still grow myself and other stuff we're doing. So I think that comes into play. What else? Yes, this is what else. Oh, the last podcast audio was fucking me up. I don't know if people hear anything throughout the podcast. You can DM me, or if you have my number, you could text me or whatever. Because I'm like, I know what I hear during the podcast, but I don't know what anybody else hears. You can comment, I guess, right? Mm-hmm. You could do that. You could let me know if you hear something that sounds weird as far as the sound being too loud, because I saw that was kind of bothering me. The last intro was mad long, and the music was too loud for the intro, so that was a disaster. I didn't listen to it fully when I posted that part. I didn't listen to it on the TV. I listened to it like on my laptop. So I'm gonna work on that. And my girlfriend has shaved for the first time since I've met her. So that's amazing. Since I've met Melissa, she has never completely shaved her body, and it's great. Like I said, she's trying to work on herself. She's trying to make sure that she's, a black queen out here doing her thing, caring about herself and loving herself. Because at the end of the day, loving is a verb. You cannot love yourself by saying that I'm just gonna be me. No, being me and loving yourself means that you're doing actions to show that you love yourself. Not just saying, oh, well, I'm gonna exist and be fat just because I'm fat. I love myself. You don't. Stop lying. You don't. Okay, go to the gym, work out. You don't have to have a size 2 or 3. Go to the fucking gym. No, you look disgusted. So they do. They be looking crazy. Listen, I'm telling them too. I'm skinny as shit right now, so I'm not living my body the way I should be. Okay, I need to be going to the gym. This is a fact. Some people, I've been loving my body. I've loved my body on the inside up until this. Right now, only thing I have right now to do is my teeth again and my go to the gym. You guys may not remember my hair. You see my hair? I've been loving my hair lately. You see how it looks? Got the curls and everything, because I've been loving myself. So I'm knocking down all the pillars. My body is next. So you're going to see me looking brolic. I don't know when it's going to happen, but you're going to see me here like, God damn, he looking big. Yes, I know the fuck I am. What you going to say then? What you going to say then when I'm like, now, here's the thing, right? I'm gonna shit on y'all crazy, because right now I'm skinny, so I can't shit on y'all body right now because I haven't been going to the gym. So I can't really shit on y'all for not loving yourself. But I can tell you right now, when I get brolic, I'm shitting on everybody. I'm gonna be like, why the fuck you look like that? Well, there's no reason you should look like that. Go to the fucking gym. You see my body? See these abs? You see these pectoral muscles? All of that. Everything. So take your ass to the gym. Stop being fat. Okay?
Why is being fat a problem?
Because it's unhealthy. It's unhealthy. That jiggly shit. That looking like what's that Pokemon? Jigglypuff? No, not Jigglypuff. The other one with the lips, with the yellow hair. Yes. Yeah, we looking crazy. Cause here's my thing. Like I said, people be thinking that losing weight, because losing weight means that you're trying to fit into this Western culture stereotype or whatever. And I'm not even. You don't have to be a size 3 or 4. But you should look healthy when I look at you. I shouldn't look at you and be like, God damn. Like, you don't, like, again, Lizzo looks nasty. I don't care if she works out every day. Because here's the thing. She works out. She posted a video the other day about her working out and shit. And I'm just like, that's cute. And you have stamina. But that's not really doing much. Somebody said, oh, y'all can't sing that long and for 4 hours and do it on stage or whatever. And they had a video of her working out. It's like, that's cute. She has stamina. Why does her legs and her butt look like that? There's no reason she look like that. She knows what she's probably doing. She's not lifting real weights. That's probably the other problem too. Lift weights, women. Lift weights. Real weights. Not the baby shits, not the little pink shits in the gym. Go to the gym and curl 10, 15 pounds. Go to the gym and shoulder press. Go to the gym and do push-ups and pull-ups. Do actual weightlifting. You will not turn to a bodybuilder. You're going to just look amazing. That's it. Okay? Stop with all this fat shit. It's annoying. What else? Oh, also, recap. I said that the police chief last week in Atlanta was white. It was black. They are actually white. And she has stepped down since Rayshard Brooks got killed. And I just want to point this out to people, because I've been listening to how to have this conversation. This is one of the reasons why I want people to understand the difference between black people and other people, right? This is a conversation. The conversation me and Melissa had the other day is a conversation that I feel like happens very often in black households. I don't actually know if it happens in Caribbean households. I have no idea. But I feel like it doesn't from the way that they kind of act. Melissa was like, well, what do you tell somebody like that? What do you tell a person that was just trying to get home to his family? He's trying to empathize with the police officers. He's trying his best not to get killed. He's trying everything he can do. He's like, yo, I've been drinking. I'll walk home. I live right there. I can call my sister. I can just go home. And they try to arrest him, right? Now, I don't think that other cultures have these conversations the way that we do. And I think that's one reason why what it means to be black. It's one of those things where it's like, we have these conversations all the time, and it happens so often that it's kind of normal. Like, we'll be at a cookout, we'll be at a family event. It's just, yo, that shit was crazy. This is how we, and then what you'll hear is other people tell stories just like that. And you kind of just like, as a kid, you look around like, damn, it's just kind of crazy. I've been hearing a lot of people getting arrested and this and the cops and this and that and the third, right? And that kind of, it brands itself on you over time. And then you have that idea of police and cops and how the system is set up for us. And that makes you, it just molds you in a certain way. And it's just one of those things, like I said, that it's a nuance that growing up here as a black person you'll have without having the culture of another country behind you. So, and she was like, she kind of was just like, wow, what do you do? She watched it like, I don't know what to tell. What do I tell my kids when this happens? I don't know what to tell my kids how to not get killed. What do I say? Just get arrested? What, like, you know. So I also want at some point to do a situation, I don't know, maybe to be a class or something. This is way down, like years from now, where I'm teaching kids about laws, where they understand, like, you're an 8-year-old, you know the laws and where you're from. Like, you understand what the police can and cannot do, and you know what words to use to get them to stop doing whatever the fuck they're doing. That kind of stuff. So I'm gonna work on that. So Melissa, can you check all things are checked off? That's good. And then can you look up Camden dissolved police? Because I'm not really sure. Oh wow, I forgot about that too. Yeah, can you just Google that? Because they've been doing this thing recently of calling people to defund the police. And I'm still on the fence about it. Because I'm like, I've seen people are kind of confused. I saw somebody on my Instagram kind of ask people what their reasoning for defunding the police is. I'm assuming maybe she didn't agree with the idea of defunding the police. And she was trying to get other people's opinions on it. So for me, I don't think that defunding the police is necessarily the solution. Because I don't think taking away money, if they're doing a shitty job right now, I don't think that giving them less money would mean their jobs, they would improve their jobs. So I think that money isn't necessarily the question here. I think that if anything, you should defund the police. They should lose funding every time that they have a situation like this. So whenever, or not even, there should be a penalty of sorts where, oh, you kill an unarmed black person or you kill an unarmed anybody for that matter, you get fined $10 million. Like if you get charged with a crime as a cop, $10 million fine. If you get convicted as a cop, $25 million. Like it should be a penalty where it's large enough for them to be like, damn, you wild. Like you better not kill nobody when you go out there because I guarantee you won't be working here at this place. And I think that everybody talks about this too. It comes down to training. It's the most important thing for police is training. And people say we try to train them and things like that. First of all, any cop under 6'2.5", what I said before, I'm changing that to 6'3.5". You gotta be 6'3.5" to be a cop as a guy. And a woman, you gotta be 5'9.5". Any guy that's under that shouldn't be a cop. Any woman under that shouldn't be a cop. And if you have to, the boot camp course should be like 2 or 3 months for cops. It should be where they are put through so much hell that when they go into the street and interact with somebody who's drunk or has a stun gun or is screaming and belligerent, they've been through so much that they look at this situation like this is comical to me. Like, listen, sir, relax. At the end of the day, you were in the wrong. Now, they should know how to detain somebody without killing them. They should never, if you have to fire your weapon as a cop and other person actually didn't have a gun, you should be penalized severely. Because you should not be the first person pulling your gun out in a situation as a cop. You should not be the first. That it should be your defense. You should know that somebody else has a gun and you're trying to defend yourself or other people. If you think they have a gun, you're assuming you're wearing a bulletproof vest. So even if you got shot, you can still shoot them more times than they shoot you in that interaction. If they even hit you, because most people can't even shoot that well in their first shot. What's the odds of them pulling out a gun and shooting you and you dying? You have to be okay with getting shot. I think that should be something that happens in the police force. You put on the chest and they shoot you. You put on the bulletproof vest and they shoot you like 2 or 3 times. You should know what it feels like to get shot just in case. You should be around those kind of things. I think these are kind of training methods that they need in police, in the police force. My eyes are burning. It's because the problem that I've realized between me talking to cops and me just kind of trying to figure out how to solve these problems is that they're just afraid. They're very afraid. They're very, very, very afraid. And I used to think that when a cop says, "I fear for my life," they were lying, and some of them probably are. But after talking to them, they are really afraid. And I think that's so crazy because that I shouldn't be able to talk to you and see that you have that much fear in you just by one conversation. I think that they need to be put in situations and scenarios that they have to overcome that fear. Like you have to be wrestling with, I don't know, animals or running through you gotta be doing some wild shit so that when you actually, the level of fear that you have or that you encounter has to be so high so that when you actually go into the street, it's the child's walk in the park. It's nothing for you. It's like a guy stole some gum. A guy is yelling at Wendy. You should be able to arrest him without having to shoot him. Like shooting him should be your last option. But, because everybody's so afraid, that's that. So also to kind of, what would you call going backwards? What would be a word for that? Retroactively. To retroactively solve problems that would help with what we're going through now is the police that have been freed or are under investigation right now should all be fired or severely penalized, because one of the issues that people I think have is that we want the cops to just deal with the repercussions of their actions. We are not necessarily upset at what they're doing per se, but we're just upset that they can do some wild shit because we know there are bad cops. We get it. Cops do wild shit all the time. We all know that, right? However, it becomes a problem and we think it's systematic when they do a bad thing and get off, because that's no longer a bad apple thing. That now becomes the system is a bad apple. And that's a problem, because if he murders somebody and in cold blood on TV for no reason, an 11-year-old boy, and he murders him or shoots somebody in their bed when they're sleeping and they don't go to jail, now we have a problem. Now we're upset. We know that some cops are crazy and we go, okay, for all the crazy cops, they should be put in jail. But if you're letting them go, now we have a problem. We're like, you know what? Fuck all police. This is why we say fuck all the police, because you guys should understand that if this person is a murderer and you're working with this murderer, you are okay to still work with could you imagine this? I want you guys to understand how crazy this sounds to me, right? Imagine you come into work one day, right? Let's say you work at, what's the job, Melissa? Think of a place you work at. Any place. Popeyes. You work at Popeyes, right? And every time you come to Popeyes, right? 2 things are happening, right? You got one person in the back who's sticking their dick in the chicken. They fucking the chicken, right? He has dead chickens he brought to work. He's fucking them. He's fucking live chicken that he got from the coop. He's fucking them, right? Because in the Bronx, you get a live chicken, right? Or, not only that, you find a guy who is fucking little kids. Like 5 and 6-year-olds and 3-year-olds, right? Could you imagine you work at your job and you find out that this person got caught on TV fucking little kids and animals, and you decided that this is the place where I want to be. Now, you may think this is kind of strange that this one person got let into here. What if I told you that across the whole country, Popeyes had people who were fucking kids and fucking animals? You'd be like, I'm not working there. And now ask yourself, if a person said to you, I want to work at Popeyes, and you would say, well, don't you know that they have a lot of people that's fucking kids and animals there? And the person said to you, well, it's a few bad apples. It's a few bad apples that are fucking kids and fucking animals. You would be like, that shit is crazy. But it's across the whole country, it's a few bad apples. You'd be like, yeah. Are they getting fired? No. They get caught and go back to work. That shit sounds real crazy when it's somebody fucking kids, right? But when they're murdering people, it's like, well, are we sure? What did the little kid do to get raped? Maybe the little kid wanted to get raped. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe it wasn't the fact that the person, the predator was attacking him. And that's how it sounds to us when you try to tell us or ask us questions like, well, what did the guy do before the officer shot her in her bed? When she was sleeping in her bed, what was she doing? She was sleeping on her left side? Of course that's why he got shot. No, everybody knows that only psychopaths sleep on the left side. So anytime you see somebody on the left side sleeping, you gotta shoot them, right? That makes sense. That makes sense, right? That's how we fucking hear it when people tell us shit like, oh, what was they doing before? What? Oh, I might thought of my last text from last week. Like, what were you doing wrong that made that person rape the little kid, right? And like I said, people, it sounds real different when you put it like that. When you put in perspective of somebody raping a child, somebody murdering somebody, and you put them together, you go, both those shits are wildly terrible. Honestly, I think that's worse than murder. I think raping a child is far worse than murder is. You can get murdered for murdering somebody, right? But I can't think of one reason where somebody can go, that child should have got raped. Like, it's okay that kid was. I can't think of one reason where a child, a 5 or 6 year old should get. I can't think of one. But I can give you multiple reasons why a person can get murdered. Raped, child, can't think of it. So that's one of the reasons why I feel like, okay, you know, this whole, the police thing needs to be put into perspective as to why the shit is so bad. So yeah, in Camden, this is New Jersey, I believe, right? It's Camden, New Jersey. This is a place where they disbanded the police force there, and they've been trying to do that around, I guess, other states or other cities and things like that. So let's see. So where's the article from?
This is from
CBS Philly. That's interesting. Why is this in Philly if this is in Jersey? I'm gonna read this one first. So Capelli Jr. says you gotta move that thing out the way. Said the transition happened because the city was going through a fiscal and public safety crisis. Fiscal means money. The city could no longer afford the union contracts of the police department. I'm about to bring that shit up too. The police department, and crime has skyrocketed. Capelli said we had 67 murders in 2012 in Camden. So there needed to be drastic changes in order to protect the residents. I should start moving myself. And to make sure the residents took back the streets of their city. At the time, Camden had some of the highest crime rates in the country. Since then, the city has introduced a community policing model. Quote, we formed a task force with the city residents and leaders and developed a model of policing, community policing, that has been implemented. That has reduced crime drastically. So police officers are trained extensively in community policing and de-escalation techniques when they are trained and hit the ground running. When they are trained and hit the ground running. They literally go door to door in the city with their cards, introduce themselves to residents, and begin forming a relationship that's necessary between. I read so fucking fast. God damn. I'm gonna try that again from my speech classes. Okay. I gotta breathe. Okay. That has reduced. You see it moving, right? You see it moving? Okay.
This ad's popping up.
That has reduced crime drastically. So police officers are trained extensively in community policing and de-escalation techniques when they are trained and hit the ground running. They literally go door to door in the city with their cards, introduce themselves to residents, and begin forming a relationship that is necessary between the residents of the city and a police department. I think that was good. I think there's certain words like is and necessary that help me to slow down when I'm reading. Okay, can you go to a different article? This is about the disbanding in Camden, which was in New Jersey. Why Camden, New Jersey was the murder capital of the country. Jesus. Okay. So one thing is Yeah, you can just find some articles that will be interesting for me to read. I'll just read those. So I've been hearing about this police union thing, and I think it's kind of crazy. I'm gonna have Melissa pull that up in a second. I'm gonna give my take on it first before I find out exactly how it works. So this is my understanding of how the union works. They're like contractors, right? You are hired by the union as a police officer, right? And then the union contracts you out to precincts to work. That's how I think it works. Which would explain why cops don't get fired, because the precincts don't actually have the power to fire them unless they get permission from the union. And if the union, which is run by all cops, I mean, a precinct may be as well, but if the union is run by all cops, it's going to be a lot more paperwork and a lot more hurdles to fire a cop for something, because now you have to go, okay, what did he do wrong? You got to explain it to the union. They have to also feel like it was wrong. And now it's kind of just like this ring around the rosy back and forth thing of trying to figure out why a cop is fired. But it's easier for a cop to be put on desk duty because firing them may come with a lot of repercussions. But in terms of not legislation, what would you call that? What would you call it when you're doing law stuff? Like in terms of when you go to court? No. I can't think of what that's called. In terms of when the process of getting a cop removed, it would be a lot harder to remove a cop that has to go through the union first. So they just have him stay in the precinct and they say, listen, while we figure this out, you'll be on desk duty for this amount of time. So that's kind of, that's my theory on it. And like I said, that kind of explains to me, or that's why I believe that it's probably really hard to remove a cop from, the things in the way, to remove a cop from their job because it's a union job, similar to probably like tenure and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So this says last week, which is why when it's so blatant, they can remove it. It's like, it's easy. It's like, oh, he did this, he did that, boom. But I feel like murder is one of those things that they're kind of like, you got to prove what he was doing type of shit. So last week, Minneapolis officials confirmed that they were considering a fairly rare course of action, disbanding the police department. It's not the first locals to break up a department, but no city as populous has ever attempted it. Minneapolis city council members haven't specified what or who will replace if the department is disbanded. Camden, New Jersey may be the closest thing to a case study that you can get. The city, home to a population of about 70% of Minneapolis size, dissolved its police department in 2012 and replaced it with an entirely new one after corruption rendered the existing agency unfixable. So that was corruption. That wasn't even just murdering black people. That was probably money involved. So before police reforms, Camden was named one of the most violent cities in the U.S. Now, 7 years after the old department was booted, though around 100 officers were rehired, the city's crime has dropped by close to half. Officers host outdoor parties for residents and knock on doors to introduce themselves. It's a radically different Camden than it was even a decade ago. Here's how they did it. So funny enough, when I talked to those cops, the lady was saying that, we have to work with them. She said they go out to these cookouts and barbecues and people hate them and stuff. And I'm like, oh, can you go back to that? I want to read something else. And they hate them. They don't want to talk to them. They kind of like shrug them off and ostracize them. And I feel like, again, this is why you cannot have low emotional IQ people working in the force, because you have to understand, we don't like you. Just because you come to this cookout and eat with me does not mean I'm going to like you now. So you have to understand that you have to do more than I have to do, because we already hate you for what people like you have done. That's how it is. But us coming with 40% or 30% is a lot, because we already don't like you. So that means that the cops should be okay with doing the 60 or the 70%. So this says, why departments dissolve police. A city's decision to dissolve its police department is often a matter of money. And this I talked about earlier in the last podcast. Everything revolves around money. You need to understand this if you want to change stuff. You need to hit people in their pockets. So, yes, protesting is cool, but when everybody has their jobs back, protesting will not be this big. It's going to be a lot smaller, okay? But what you can do, even while you're still at work, file complaints, sue, do things that have them have to pay for anything, regardless of what it is. Even if you don't get paid, make them have to pay somebody. Changes will come when they look at their balance sheet and go, damn, we spent 20% more on complaints this year and manpower just to file paperwork. We have to figure this out. We can't keep doing this. That's how you get things to change. Protesting is cool, but protesting only works if the government feels like, you know what? All right, fine. Y'all mad loud. I'll change it. Okay. Because at the end of the day, protesting is just asking. It's asking really loud. It's like, hey, we want this. It's like, okay, well, no, I'm not giving it to you. What you gonna do now? If you're not gonna do anything about it, then it is what it is. But if they go, oh, fine, you know what? Instead of protesting, how about we just don't watch CNN no more? How about that? How about if we decide, you know what? I think that we will send our money to this organization instead of that one. Now things are changing. Things become very different at that point. So when you figure out, I think the next podcast, I'm going to figure out ways to understand how the money flows through precincts. I think that will help people. So, earlier this year, the village of Deposit, New York, dissolved its department because it cost $200,000 per year. That's hilarious. That's nothing. Now a single sheriff deputy is assigned to the village. CNN affiliate reported Garden City, Missouri laid off all its officers and suspended its police chief because, as its mayor said in 2018, the city couldn't afford to keep them employed. In a bizarre move, Rio Vista police leadership abruptly left the department, and half of the remaining officers left for other jobs. So the California City Department could no longer go on. Can you go down? All the way down. Camden dissolved its police department to root out corruption. The city's crime rate was among the worst in the U.S. 9 square miles, and among nearly 75,000 residents, there were 170 open-air drug markets reported in 2013. I don't know what that means. Crime abounded. Lawsuits filed against the department uncovered that officers routinely planted evidence on suspects, fabricated reports, and committed perjury. So yeah, but that's that. So that's just, look at that up. Camden, go up real quick so you guys can look these up. Camden has dissolved the police department, so you want to look into them. Do a quick Google search. What's the other one? Other people that dissolved it. I think it's at Rio Vista. No, go back to that one. Scroll down. Yeah, keep going. Oh, up. Yeah. Deposit, New York, and Rio Vista. So look at those people. Google that. You guys can find other people that have tried it and see how it works. Can you go back to the other one, to the notes? Police union. Can you Google how that works? What's the time? 1:40. Oh, wow. Okay. I was reading that.
The mic is still going.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Can you go to what they do? Okay. This is article on what website is this? TheBalanceCareers.com says what police unions do. Police unions work with law enforcement leaders and rank and file members to negotiate better pay and protect the rights of officers. Unions were instrumental in introducing and implementing job protections like the Police Officers' Bill of Rights around the U.S. Can you write that down and look back at that in a second somewhere? Besides championing better wages and working hours, police unions have significantly influenced how and when officers can be disciplined. See? That's what I was saying. This is exactly what I was talking about. Read it again. Besides championing better wages and working hours, police unions have significantly influenced how and when officers can be disciplined. They've also established systems of due process for officers to have their discipline reviewed, which has in turn helped protect rank and file police officers from false accusations and potential political abuses.
Or real accusations.
Yes, real. And I think that's crazy. Okay, so benefits. So honestly, that's what you guys gotta figure out. That's what you need to do. You need to figure out how to disband the police unions. It's not the police people, the precincts. They don't have no pop. Can't do nothing. Figure out how to do it to the unions. Figure out how they get money. Take that away. How do you make sure that the cops? You know what? That's what you need to do. Figure out. Because one guy, I think in Atlanta, said that he's gonna change his negotiations with them. Oh, unless the unions somehow pay the precincts, and that would kind of be weird too. So that's another thing. I'm looking at how that works. So find out how can we remove the unions from the police precinct or officers or whatever it's called. Okay. So if anybody has an answer for that, let me know. I'm look into that too myself. Go back up. Wait, whoa. Yeah. Police unions offer some benefits to their members, officers. Those benefits often include life insurance, disability benefits, and counseling services. They also notably include legal representation for situations that may arise on the job. Ooh, something else I just figured out right now. If I read the sentence in my head first and then I say it, it's easier to say it. Because I feel like when I read it, I don't know where the flow of it's going and be fucking me up. That legal representation can prove indispensable if you ever find yourself in trouble or under investigation by internal affairs. Exactly. It's the police unions are the problem. It's not the police. It's not the police precinct. It is the unions. Figure that shit out. It says everyone would be paid well. Discipline would be administered rarely but fairly, and no one would dream of falsely accusing officer of wrongdoing. Who does that? How often does that happen? I want to know what's the stats of people who are pulling up and lying on cops. That's hilarious. Can you scroll down? If you can afford the usually relatively small cost of union dues, it's probably a good deal to join one. Okay, can you go back? I want to see what is. No, go back to the last page.
Is this the same page?
No, like the Google page. How'd you get to there? Yeah. Okay. The role of police unions. Can you see that? This is police 1. See? Oh, yeah. So my dad, as you guys know, was murdered by my family members and the doctors. I think that's episode 5 probably. And so now, they're kind of going through the situation of like, he has stuff in the house. What do we do with it? Do we keep it? And things like that. At first I was like, I felt kind of dirty, like taking the stuff. So I didn't really want to go over there, but I had something from my bike that I left in the garage. So I was like, I'm going to go over there. That's my first time going to the house since he was murdered by those people. And I didn't feel as bad when I got there. So that was kind of cool. And I got an air fryer from there, which we haven't used yet. I'm listening to talk about getting an air fryer from Mad Long. We finally get one. Now we haven't touched that shit one time. And and what is it? So there's a TV upstairs that I want to get. It's like it's either 70 inches or 80 inches. And the reason I'm bringing that up is because it'll be a lot easier to read. It's a smart TV. What's on the screen if the TV was bigger. This TV is, I think the one here is 39 inches. Bro, that means it's twice the size of this TV. Yeah, well, I mean, you guys will see it when I put it up on the wall and put it on the podcast page, which is the Bamboo Project _podcast. Or is it many of them? It seems like I'm reading that people do not advocate for police unions, but they advocate for other unions because it makes sense. Because you know why? Other unions don't employ people that are murderers. That's why. I feel like I don't trust this site. Like which ones?
I think Starbucks is not allowed to have a union.
Who's it? But who makes that decision?
I think it might be terms of employment or something like that.
Can you scroll down? This is a police website too, so I know it's gonna be biased. Wow. Candidates for political office often come to police unions seeking an endorsement, but are we demonstrating impartial service to the law by offering such endorsement? I would argue that we are not being impartial and, for this reason, suggest that police unions get out of the candidates' endorsement business and focus on issue advocacy. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Can you get like the history of unions? Of how they came from?
See what is right here.
You got what?
Some. I almost fell. So.
Jesus, you gotta slide it off your hand. Go up there. You gotta throw it high.
So, now for this filler break, we're gonna be talking about what I've been doing recently. So, like for the past couple of days, I've been watching a certain show called Naruto. Now, I love anime. I've been watching anime since I've been in middle school, probably even elementary school. My older cousins introduced me to it. I think the first anime that I ever watched was like Princess Tutu, Peach Girl. I know they're very cutesy, very girly anime, but like it's anime at the end of the day. And the first it's very serious anime that I watched. Actually, I saw was the first time I saw it was in Jamaica. I was staying at a hotel in Ocho Rios in Jamaica, and they had Death Note playing, and that's the first time I saw Death Note. Later went on to go finish that, all that stuff. So one of the animes that I've never watched because I felt like it was too mainstream, funny enough for me, was Naruto. I just now finished season 4, whatever the last season is of My Hero Academia. And Donivan was telling me that like they got stuff from Naruto in there, and I'm just when Donivan says stuff, it'd be true, but he be like right all the time. So sometimes I have to hear from someone other than Donivan because you just get tired of it. Anyways, so Donivan says this all the time, like, man, that's from Naruto. Oh, that's just like Naruto. So I was reading a Wikipedia article on My Hero because I wanted to see when the next season was going to come out. And I read that it was heavily inspired by Naruto. Now, even though Donivan said this to me many times, that doesn't matter to me. The thing that will put the nail in the coffin, or the thing that will get me to move, is when I hear it again for somebody else. Why that is, I don't know. It's because, he's always kind of right about stuff, and it's like, I don't want to give him the satisfaction of always being right about stuff. But either way, he's still right. But yes, huh? You think it's a secret from you, the person that's editing it? Let me know if I'm keeping secrets from you. Anyways, so yeah, like I was saying, he's always right. So I don't want him to know that he's always right, but it be happening and it sucks, but it is what it is. So so because of all that, I finally decided to watch Naruto, and I am now about to finish my first season. Now, bruh, I was getting ready. First of all, I went to go look up how many episodes are in Naruto, and he's like, why would you do that? Don't do that. And I'm like, 720 episodes. 720 episodes are in Naruto. And I'm saying Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, like putting them together, the whole series. So Naruto, which I heard is like kind of the preteen, and then Naruto Shippuden is kind of like when they're older. And then there's also Boruto, but whether or not I like Naruto and Naruto Shippuden is gonna let me know if I'm gonna watch Boruto. But either way, Naruto is 220 episodes, and there are approximately 50 episodes in each season. Right now I'm on episode like 40 something. Wow, I could do a video on this. Aside from this, but yeah. Anyways, yeah. And I actually like it. It could be a bit slow for me at times, because watching My Hero is like the kind of the updated version of it in a sense. So the visuals of it is very old. It's kind of a weird old. It's not old to the point where it's like you can't watch it, because I've also watched JoJo's Bizarre Adventure from like the first season, and that's really like old looking anime. Like that should look hella old. But I'm very excited to see where the characters go, because in the first season there's nothing that's really established. And the thing about My Hero that I really like is that I love high school animes when you get to get the feel of each character, understand what drives them, understand what makes them happy, what's their vices and all that stuff. So I'm looking forward to watching an anime this long, because I feel like I'm actually going to be able to like really get in there. I feel like all the other animes that I've watched that I started to like kind of fuck with the characters, it's over in 2 seasons. And when I say over in 2 seasons, I mean like each season is like 9 episodes and the anime is done. Will not come out with another season, and like that's the end of my relationship with them. So I'm very excited to go through this whole Naruto journey. My brother, I was actually on the phone with him yesterday or the day before, and he's watching One Piece right now. And he said that One Piece is longer than Naruto. I don't really know, but he said that's pretty cool. But he's also in the same stage of the anime as I am, where we're just literally getting the introductions to the characters, what powers they have, introducing the concept of ninjas and the villages, and kind of, you don't even know where the lines are at this point. They're just telling you like, this is here are these people. So I'm very excited to see when the map gets fully drawn out, because I feel like that's how you look at animes. It's like a map. There's a center, and then you get to see the branches, and you really get to explore the world that they live in. So very excited about that. So there's that. What else? I'm just going to give you guys an update of what I've been doing recently. So yes, as Donivan said earlier, I no longer work at Amazon. And this has been like a couple weeks now that I actually stopped working at Amazon. And I honestly really, really, really am like, I fuck with that decision so much for me to stop working there, because I feel like I've been doing a lot more since I haven't been working there. Not these past couple of days. Past couple of days I've been watching anime and doing some research on some other shit. But either way, I kind of have my days set up for certain things. So like Sunday, Monday is like grocery, cooking, and cleaning. Those are like those days that I do that. So clean the bathroom, order groceries, make the meals for the week on those days. I haven't got it down to the T, but that's what those 2 days are designated for. Now we all know that Tuesdays are for podcasts, and the remainder of that day is typically going to be me making content or planning future content, trying to get like a visual of what I'm going to be putting out. So that's what Tuesdays are kind of for. Wednesdays and Thursdays are also very, very heavy content days. Whether that's singing, whether that's reading, whether that's looking up new recipes. And when I say content, I'm talking about self-development as well, because that is my content. So figuring out new hairstyles, figuring out if I'm going to do another haul, when does the fabric stores open up, stuff like that, like kind of that, making things. And then Friday and Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, I typically devote to editing videos. So I need to kind of work on that, because I'd like to put out videos earlier in the week. Recently, what I've been doing is I've been putting out 2 videos on the same day, or it'll be like 1 video Friday, 1 video Saturday, and Donivan typically puts up the podcast on like Thursdays. So it'll just be like boom, 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 and those are the 3 videos for the week, as opposed to it being like spread out. But I don't know if YouTube really cares, but I feel like I need to be more consistent so people know, okay, Monday at this time, Wednesday at this time, Friday at this time, you'll come to this page and you will see videos, as opposed to, damn, you gotta wait until next Saturday for Melissa to put the video up again. But Donivan is done. I don't know if he's probably taking a shit, because I feel like that was kind of long. So now that Donivan is back, I hope you guys enjoyed Melissa's talk on the Bamboo Project podcast.
I feel like I found some more, but that was a good start. It's good.
Did you spray?
No. You can't even smell anything.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can.
I didn't take a shit, so what do you smell?
How are you telling me what
I didn't take a shit.
What did you do then?
I peed.
He took a shit.
I peed. So, either way.
Damn, I'm so short. Looking at where your head is in
Oh.
comparison to where my head was.
Okay, so one thing I want to look up was the history of the police unions. I'm just curious how they got into, play. It says police officers started to form unions in the early 1900s in conjunction with the labor movement that was sparked, by the Industrial Revolution. What happened?
I feel like I know that I smell it.
Oh. Okay. I will go spray.
Oh, question. So when I do that stuff, you just cut it out?
You don't really do I? I don't think so. I mean, you don't really talk for that long. That's probably the longest you ever talked on a podcast.
Yeah. I don't even know if I want you to have it. Maybe I'll save it for myself.
Have what?
Have me and my gems that I'm using.
Oh, yeah, sure. Police officers started to form unions in the early 1900s in conjunction with the labor movement that was sparked by the Industrial Revolution. The earliest example of why police officers started to form unions is commonly associated with the Boston Police Department. Police officers did not receive pay increases from 1898 through 1913. In addition, they were often required to work 72 hours per week and pay for their own uniforms. In 1919, Boston cops unionized, affiliated with the American Federation of Labor. Can you scroll down? After unionizing, 17 of the union leaders were suspended, which led to the majority of Boston's police officers walking off the job. Violence in the city ensued after the walkout, and needless to say, after this occurred, police officers were prevented from striking. Despite this incident, officers would continue to unionize, and as a result, most police officers will belong to some sort of collective bargaining unit today. This says, our younger officers simply may not know that if it were not for unionization, they would not enjoy many of the benefits, wages, rights, and working conditions that they enjoy today. But yeah, next episode, I'm gonna try and get more into that to figure out how we can solve this. Because it's not the problem isn't the police. The problem is the unions. That's what we need to solve. And it was something I wanted to talk about. Oh, I had a conversation with my sister and my mom the other day about voting and why I'm not gonna vote. Because I don't care when it comes to the president, because I can't think of anything that the president has done in the last couple of years that has affected me. I don't think the president's job is to affect people necessarily, because he's playing with bigger chips, I guess, or at a higher table. So the decisions that he would make would affect people who make millions or hundreds of millions or billions of dollars. Those people who are in those kind of positions. Because like I said, since I've been alive, I can't name one thing the president has done that has helped or hurt me. I can think of 2 situations where the president's decision affected me or somebody I knew. So now this is funny, right? Because one thing people say about Trump, and this is why I kind of get annoyed about Trump, right? People will talk about Trump. I'm gonna say this very slowly so everybody hears. I don't care about Trump. I don't care if he's president. I don't care if he's not president. I don't care about any of those things. The reason I don't care is because everybody says that he's racist and he's bad and he's this and he's that, right? But anybody that says those things that have not went and Googled it themselves shouldn't be talking about it, because that means that you got information from the television or from social media. If you did not go and actually do the independent research yourself, that means that your thoughts are not your thoughts. You're saying what somebody else has told you to say. And I figured this out for myself when Trump was elected for president. And this is why I stopped listening to the news, and this is why I stopped caring about who's president. Because for me, when Trump was running for president, this was around the time that he was saying things about Mexicans or something like that, right? So I would go and I would watch the whole 2-hour speech that he would give. And the speech that he would give was far different than what they would try to portray on television. Now, this would happen to me not once, not twice, not 3 times, probably 4, 5, 6 times that I would hear something on the news. I'm like, he said that? That's crazy. I go look it up. That's not what happened. So I'm like, okay, how many times is this going to happen where he says something they misconstrue what he says, and then they post about it on the news and then propagate it across all the different social media platforms? It's like, listen, I don't care what he's doing, because he already told me before that he was lying. He told me he was lying. He wasn't lying. He said he was racist. What he did wasn't racist. So I'm like, I don't care, right? So I'm not voting for him. I'm not voting for Biden, because Biden is an idiot. Why would you asking me, do I want to get shot in my left leg or my right leg? I don't care. If you're going to shoot me, then shoot me. I really don't care. Because at the end of the day, they don't really affect me. But like I said, the only 2 things I have seen was when Obama, and it wasn't affecting me directly, but Obama had a situation where somebody I knew was undocumented, and they were able to benefit from a law that was passed that had to do with, it might have even been Obama, that allowed, I think it was what was it, the HERO Act that allowed immigrants to go to school? Can you Google that? Which one? I think it was some act that he would put in place that allowed people who don't have like a social security number to get financing for school. No, it's not the HERO Act. That's recently. So put Obama immigrants school. See what comes up. Or college. And it was like you were able to get funding even though you weren't actually a documented citizen. So I think that it didn't affect me, but I know somebody that did affect. So I'm like, okay, that's good. The other thing was when I went to file my taxes last year, I actually got more money because of something that Trump did. So they said, hey, Trump passed this law a year ago that if you check this box, you get $700. I was like, That's it. They're like, yeah, Obama. If it wasn't for Trump, you'd be losing that money, but because of Trump, you're getting that money back. I'm like, oh, so Trump actually, the Dream Act, that's what it was called. Trump actually helped me. So I'm like, again, it's $700. I don't really care about it. It didn't change my life, but it's like, oh, that's cool. And when I've talked to people who actually study these things, there are a lot of things that they say that are actually good things that Trump has done that help people. So it's kind of just like you take what you get, and if only thing you get is from TV, everything you get is going to be bad. So like I said, do your own research. Go look it up. If you see someone on TV that says Trump said this, don't just find the article that said what he said. Find the whole speech. If you're going to do it at least once, do it at least one time where you can watch it yourself and see from your perspective is what you saw what they are saying on television. That's it. That's all. And then just let me know if it's any different. Because like I said, that's how I stopped caring about the presidential politics. If anything, what I do think people need to care about way more than voting for the president is voting for the people who are in control of your boroughs. Whoever that's the mayor, the district leader, all of those smaller people that affect your day-to-day life, worry about them. Find out who they are. Because a lot of people, my mom ran for a office position. I don't know what they're called. I can't remember what it was called. But there's a guy named Joe Ingles. Is his name Joe Ingles? Elliot Ingles, I think his name was. Yes. Who is he? He's a U.S. representative, okay? And he is serving as a U.S. rep for New York's 16th congressional district since 2013, right? So he's been there for 7 years. And he's in his 16th term in Congress, right? We don't know about him. He's been running this shit for mad long. There's no 8-year term limit for him. He just keeps going and going. And nobody can. So whatever law he wants to put in place or whoever he wants to help is getting help. When the money comes to him and he allocates it and it don't go to the black people, this is why. He's not a black person, just so if you didn't know. And we need to vote for these people. If you talk about the president, he's going to be going in 4 years. This guy's been president. This guy's been in charge of this position for over a decade and a half. He's been running this position. Like, vote for these people. Vote for them. He's 73. He's a white 73-year-old man. Come on. Who do you think he's putting his money to? You think he's really trying to help the people from the projects, from the hood? No. So go find out who are in charge. I don't know what they're called. Maybe they're not the primaries. Whatever the other things are called, just Google that. Go find out those voting dates and post about that shit. Fuck who becomes president. We don't give a fuck. It doesn't help you. You're talking about, we're going to invade Iraq. Yes, it's bad. Did that change your life in the last 10 years Iraq was invaded? No, nothing has changed. Did they change the fact? I think I was in the car one time and somebody told me, it's happened twice actually. Somebody told me they don't like Obama because I was in an Uber and he said that Obama there was a law in place that had companies required to label their food as GMO. I believe that's what it was. Can you Google that too? What that was? Obama labeling food. And he removed that, right? So you would think that's a bad thing, but nobody talks about that, right? Then you had a situation where I went to a Subway and a guy there said that Obama made him have to pay. He was the owner. It was him working by himself. I asked him, I said, damn, you work by yourself? He's an older guy, probably like 50s or 60s. He's like, yeah, man, I can't afford to pay anybody because Obama raised, I guess, the insurance or something. So I can't afford to hire anybody. I have to work for myself and just work here all day by himself. Nobody's in there but him. So if you don't look these things up yourself, information that you're getting is probably not, the thoughts that you have are probably not your thoughts. So pretty much it says that what he did was he changed the way that they were able to label the food, or he changed the way that they have to label the food. So you don't have to write GMO. You can put a QR code. And you can go back up, please. And you can pretty much write deceptive things on there that say it's non-GMO or GMO, but you don't have to. You don't have to just write on the front, this has GMO in it. So let me read the law. The new law signed Friday and supported by the food industry preempts a recently passed and stricter Vermont ruling that requires food to say produced with genetic engineering. Instead, companies will be allowed to either say that in plain words on the package or provide a QR code, a 1-800 number, or a website for consumers to visit for more information. So everybody loves Obama. Things like this get passed. So it's like, I don't care about the president shit. If you want to know what's in your food, look it up yourself. Don't worry. Don't rely on the president to do shit for you. You go all the way down. Oh, go back. How much time is it? Okay, so I'm about to be done. Okay, go back up. Go right now. Not that high. Like, keep going. Right there. Oh, right. So I just wanted to say this too. So I think when it comes to understanding the laws of attraction, I think you have to figure out how it works. Once you figure out how it works, you have to know how to use it for yourself. So what I'm talking about is that Starbucks are closing a lot of stores, right? And Melissa left Starbucks over a year ago now? Almost a year ago, right? And I don't think it benefited her to stay at Starbucks. Now they're closing 400 stores in America and I think 200 in Canada. And honestly, I don't think they're going to be able to really recover from this, because if their business model before was, and I think they're switching to this. Their business model before was come, sit down, relax at Starbucks, and now they're going to be like a drive-in, get a Starbucks and leave. So, or a drive-through. So I just think that she got out fast enough, and then with Amazon, they started acting funny, or she got out before it really affected her. And I think that every time that decision had to be made, it never felt, I mean, I don't know, I didn't make the decision, but it never felt bad. Like, did it ever feel bad to you? Did you ever feel like you're making the wrong decision?
Oh, no, it felt worse working there.
Yeah.
Than it did leaving.
Yeah. What about the decision to leave? Was it like a hard decision?
I don't think the decision to leave is hard if you feel. I don't think the decision to leave is hard if you don't have a lot on the line, and if if you don't have a lot on the line, pretty much. And it's kind of like at the end of the day, I know that if I wanted to get another job, I'd be a good candidate to get one.
That's a Columbia shirt?
Huh?
She kind of fire.
What?
She Columbia?
I don't think it would be hard for me to get a new job. God forbid anything happened. I don't think it would be hard for me to go back to college. God forbid anything happens. So in the last 2-3 years, I've left Starbucks. I left college. I left kind of, left Amazon. I left a lot of things. Yeah. So I think each time it feels less scary. I don't get as attached to jobs anymore because it's not doing anything for me. And there's things that'll happen while I'm working there that reaffirms why I left and why I don't want to be there.
I'm trying to imagine how that would be. I can't see you working at Starbucks right now. I think you would go crazy. Like if you had to go back to that. So one thing I want to say about that is just because something feels scary doesn't mean it's wrong. And I feel like a lot of people connect those two things together. They feel like, okay, I'm scared, this is bad. And that isn't necessarily the case, because you might feel scared of quitting your job and going to do what you actually want to do. But if you hate your job, you're going to hate it forever. And it's like Melissa said, if you leave your job and quit, you can find something else to do. Like maybe that's different for somebody who has like a job that supports like...
I don't even think that. The only thing that I think that will really affect someone leaving their job, like the swiftness of it and how they feel about it, is if they have kids.
That's what I was getting to. Where I'm like, if you have a job that supports everything you're doing, and then you not having the job means you can't do things you want to do, then I can understand how you would be scared to leave your job. Like if you have a job that pays, like let's say $75,000 a year, $80,000 a year, and you leave that job and now you can't pay rent, you can't pay your phone bill, you can't pay for food and things like that, because the next job you get won't be able to support or sustain the lifestyle you had before. I can understand that. But what's the alternative? So if you're going to do that, then I always think of it as siphoning it off. So do 90-10, then do 85-15, then do 75-25. Like, do it like that, so that you are slowly transitioning in out from one job to the other. But if you don't have a job like that, like if you don't have a job that you've built, you went to school for, and now you're working there, quit that shit. Just quit that shit. I'm telling you, you'll be a lot better off just quitting that shit, or doing more, putting more of that money or more of that time into yourself. Because in 10 years from now, I'm 26 now. That's crazy. I don't feel 26. In 10 years from now, you're going to be 36, right? Regardless of what you do, you're going to be 36. So you can be 36 working the same job you're working now, or you could be doing a different job that you spent 10 years working on and improving yourself for, which is what you see with the Bamboo Project. In 10 years from now, I'm going to be in a very different place than I am right now. But that's because I've chosen to make that decision that, okay, I'm planning for the next 10 years. So it's going to be different. Like, I know for a fact it's going to be way different than I am now. How different, I can't tell you, but I know it's going to be different because I'm making that choice to work towards it. I might hit my goal, right, of what I want. I may go beyond my goal, or I may not get to my goal, but I won't be where I'm at now. So I'm going to be further ahead than where I'm at now, and I'll be far further ahead than if I decide to waste these last 10 years or next 10 years working in the same job. Because the time's going to go by. Like, I think that's so fun. The time's going to go by whether you wanted to or not, and you can decide what you want to do at that time. So, that concludes episode 13 of the Bamboo Project podcast. So, again, if you're on YouTube, you can find us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts. And if you are listening to us right now, streaming on one of those major platforms that I said earlier that we're on, you feel me? Because we out here doing big things. Then you can find what is it called? Instagram and Twitter. My Instagram and Twitter is my name, Donivan Gray. DONIVAN GRAY. That's my Instagram and my Twitter. Melissa's Instagram is Anita Byrne, ANETABURN, and we have a Facebook page now because we trying to hit all. We hitting everything. We get into that bag. We hit everything. But you gonna listen. You can't say we're not working. We gonna at least if 10 years from now nothing happens, which I can't see happening. You can't say we didn't put the work in. You can't say we wasn't trying. Okay, so we gonna have a Facebook page. What's the name of the Facebook page? What is the name of the Facebook page?
I'm pretty sure it's the Bamboo Projects.
So the Bamboo Projects with an S, because we have multiple projects like clothing, music, fitness, food, sports, and as you see right here, the podcast.
Yes, of the Bamboo Project.
Bamboo Project out.